Welcome back to week 3. This is Breakpoints. I'm Sam. I'm joined today by Taylor and Zach, as always. And we have our awesome guest today. The reason I even play Flesh and Blood to begin with, Mr.
That's right.
MajinBae. How are you guys doing this week, Taylor? What'd you get up to?
I just played a lot of Gravy on Talishar, and that's about it. Kind of waiting for the Pro Tour decks and seeing what everyone else is doing. I'm not going because I can't afford the $2,000 flights right now after going to London and Vegas and everything. So I just want to see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah,
How about you, Zach?
Travel's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah, so unlike Taylor, I have spent a bajillion dollars going to Singapore, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, this week I've just been beating my head against the wall, trying to figure out how to make Victor work into all of, the top meta decks that I just continue to lose to on stream. Yeah, Majin's face said it all right there. We just continue to work through it and try to figure it out and see what we can do. But yeah, it just kind of feels like I'm beating my head against the wall right now. But yeah, that's just kind of it. We're horsing it up.
You had a little bit of success tonight's stream. It was pretty good. I think you got 3 wins against Gray, which is pretty
3-0 against Gravy tonight, son. Let me tell you, those Talishar people, they didn't know what was coming.
That's pretty good. My week was not too special because I didn't do a whole lot of fab. I instead got really sick and then bought a house. So both ends of the spectrum.
All right. Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, really though.
Thanks. How about you, Majin? How'd your week?
I am going to Singapore, but only because I won nationals, because I was not expecting to be able to afford it. And I basically played no Flesh and Blood this week, which is not great.
All right.
I just
All right.
there's just so much life
bold
I have
move,
to do. Yeah, like World Tour weeklies take up a lot of time, and then like I'm in school full time, right? So like right after this, literally right after this, I close out of this tab and I open up my calculus homework, and I'm doing that for like 4 hours before I go to bed. So the only thing I've had time to do is give myself little itty bitty breaks and just jam games of Acilio into randoms on Talishar. That's what I've been doing.
Ooh,
That
we're
deck
jamming
is-
some Acilio games.
I've
Yes.
just been cooking people with that deck.
Hell yeah.
It's good. The new shock is nuts. Like there's so many times where I just like go, oh yeah, ate you.
Yes.
like,
Tell Taylor about this, please. Tell Taylor all about this, please.
Yeah, right before you hopped in, Taylor here was talking a bit of smack about how all the Acilios are playing this new shock card that's supposed to make everything better. But this week, we saw 2 Nats wins from Acilio. Pretty big.
And a lot of top 4s and top 8s.
Yeah.
It was actually everywhere.
Yeah, it was really big this week. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I guess kind of going off of that, the results are in for Nats. We're all done. And this week, we finally have the top end of Syndra and Slippy, both coming in with 8 wins. And we have a little bit of a fall off. Gravy, no wins, and Verdance with 1, bringing them both to 4. And then we've got a whole smattering coming down the pipeline here. Most notably, we got Dash IE finally hitting Living Legend. And like we talked about, Acilio getting 2 wins. What do you think, Morgan, about how Verdance is looking lately, considering, she's kind of a little bit of fall off towards the end of the national season here?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I kind of spiked best Verdance time for sure in the meta with US Nationals. And then after it, I was pretty aware that Verdance's stock was going to go down. I still think like she's got a lot of gas in the tank. Like, I know that's a weird saying to use here, but I feel like she's still pretty good. A lot of her matchups are solid. The issue is like you have to be pretty comfortable with playing into decks that can fatigue you without playing an anti-fatigue plan, if that makes sense. Like you can't be bringing in H-pots and rampants against all these people, but like they can fatigue you, right? Slippy can fatigue you. And so you just have to be like really comfortable with juggling not only like turn by turn value, but also like pure deck value. And I feel like that trips up a lot of people. But I think the deck is still very powerful. Stormstriders into Burn Bear Waning Moon is like so ridiculous. And Felling is also ridiculous. So who knows? What do you guys think? How do you all feel about Verdance right now?
So I think that Verdance is probably one of the better decks going into Singapore. I think, in my opinion, I think the Gravies have improved dramatically in that matchup since your triumph in Vegas. I think a lot of them are running some AB and have a solid game plan to not just get burned down really hard. And that's become a lot more of a difficult matchup for her. But I think the great part about Verdance is that you have play into literally everybody. There isn't a single deck you sit down across from and it's like, it's over. I have like a 10% Regulus. I feel like everything is winnable now that new is gone.
That matchup sucked.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, Verdance has that ability where she reminds me a lot of Icelander, where no match was unwinnable. Like you sit across from any opponent and you feel comfortable enough. If you're a better player, you're going to win that matchup, and you just have the tools in your deck box to win almost any game. And that's like the one thing as Earthlander, is like I keep watching I always think that we're past the Wounded Bull meta, but then I'm watching Verdance win tournaments with pretty much Wounded Bull with like Bear and stuff like that, and I'm just like, we're always there.
Wounded Bull's still good.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I was like, oh, okay, we're still doing this.
Well, and I feel like to take what Taylor said and take it a step further too is that like not only does Verdance not have like a quote unquote like unwinnable matchup, but because of that, that's going to make her like a pick for people who like Majin just said like hasn't had a lot of time to test, or maybe they've been really busy, so they're like, okay, well, like, yeah, I've got fair matchups into everything and some tricky ones here and there. But so because of that, I think Verdance is going to be pretty widely represented at Singapore actually here next weekend.
I could see that. I think I think top 3. I don't know if you guys watched the World Tour Weekly video that just dropped. But,
Yeah, of course, man.
I basically just, of course, I basically said that I think like top 3 is still going to be like Gravy. I think he's still going to be up there. And then like Slippy and Syndra. And then I think like it's going to be a sizable drop. And then you have like 6 other decks you can bring, like 6 or 7 decks that are like at the same like tier 1.5 tier, like something you wouldn't be surprised to see in a top 8. Yeah, I think there's just like a lot of options people have for this event.
Very
It
open.
feels extremely diverse.
Yep.
So with that idea, Acilio did pop off kind of this week. How do you feel he kind of stands looking forward to Singapore?
I think he's really good. The issue is like Acilio has a watered down version of the Kano problem, which is that when you show up, like you can expect to lose at least 1 to 2 games to your deck and to a horrendous matchup. Right, like you play Acilio, you walk into like Slippy, and you don't draw Gone in a Flash in the first 3 turns, and things get really tough for you. You have one completely whiff of a turn, and you just die. The trade-off is that same thing with the Kano thing, is that like you do get the other end of that volatility. Like sometimes you just 50 people, and you're like, right, like it feels good. So it's kind of like people who are playing Acilio have to accept that. That's like part of the contract you sign when you bring the deck. It's like, I'm going to stumble. Like the deck is going to not always do what I want the deck to do, but every now and then I'm going to just steal a game from people.
So based off of what you just said, 9 rounds of Singapore, planning that we make day 2, how many rounds in 9 games do you think the deck, you either get like this abysmal matchup or the deck buckles to itself in 9 rounds for people looking to play Acilio?
On average, I'm going to go with 1.5.
Okay.
I think a lot of people would say higher. I think they'd say maybe like 2 or 2+. But I actually think that a lot of spots where Acilio players, or who people maybe who don't play like a ton of Acilio, would say that like this game is lost, like there's nothing to do here. I think you actually have a lot of wiggle room, especially in the turns prior, with a lot of Blast to Oblivion shenanigans to insulate yourself from getting those like worst possible spots, if that makes sense. Like maybe you take 2 less damage to flicker a Sigil of Conductivity or something to keep yourself with Embodiment of Lightning for the next turn, right? Like you have options and you have to weigh those as you play the deck. But until you play the deck like a ton, I'm not an Acilio master, right? Like I'm not the Acilio guy. But I'm playing the deck enough to where I'm like seeing these spots and going, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit less damage. I'm going to make sure that I have this. I'm going to like not put this in my arsenal, instead I'll put this in my arsenal. Like, and it just helps like insulate you a little bit. And I feel like those can really, yeah, basically I'm just saying that like I think it happens less if you keep your eye out for opportunities to minimize it.
So I think that makes a lot of sense. And Taylor's someone who's also played a lot of Acilio, but I'm pretty good friends with Yudo, who won their nationals playing Acilio, and he's a big Acilio main. But like that line in the sand that you're talking about, because I think a lot of people would consider you like, the master wizard in like a lot of senses. So when you say that, you're not like the Acilio guy, where do you think that line in the sand is? Like, how many games do you think you have to get to where you're like, you know what? I'm maximizing that 0.5% to set myself up with an embodiment 2 turns from now.
Yeah. I would say that, like, I'd probably need, judging off, like, my Kano and Verdance experience and Icelander, I would need either 50 really dedicated testing games.
Okay.
Where, like, I'm full mental focus. Like, I'm sitting down with someone. We are testing this matchup. I'm not just playing games in my armory or on Talishar, right? Like, I'm working through things. We're talking through lines. We're discussing pitches, like, all this kind of stuff. Or I would need to play, like, 150 more, like, armory skirmish level games.
Okay.
To probably hit that point. I remember hitting that point with Kano. And it was probably, like, 400 games in.
Yes.
And then I was like, it's like a whole new world opened up to me. It's hard. I think it's further than people think for a lot of players. I think people get to like 80-85% and go, damn, this really be the peak though. And like that's just not how it works in Flesh and Blood, especially not with the wizard class.
Oh yeah. When you hit that threshold, it is like mental euphoria in a sense where you're like, holy shit, I'm seeing like the galaxy brain image like is me. Whenever you play a deck to like that level, it just that's why this game is so awesome, man. It's just you can't get that kind of feeling, I feel like, anywhere else.
Yeah, even when I was playing really well a couple years ago, it's like even when I thought I was at the peak, I would just be like, there's still more room to climb.
More,
I'd like look back in games like a month later, I'd be like, wait, that was still incorrect.
Yeah.
You like even in hindsight, I'm just like looking back, I'm like,
yep. Same thing with like you watch like the super top players, right? Like I consider myself to be a pretty good player, but like I do think there's like an echelon that is currently out of my reach, or like the Pablo Pintors and such. And anytime you play the same deck as one of these people and they're like on it with this deck, like they really put the time in, you just find that like they win more than you do. And you're like, you're making all the same decisions. Like, I don't even know if I could do anything different, but like clearly there's something different you could be doing here. I run into that a lot when I do coaching, where people are like, I asked you these questions about these like big turns and you made all the same decisions as me. Like, why am I not winning as much as you? And then it'd be like, okay, like let's go way back to the beginning of the game. It's like, you sideboarded this card in and it should be this card. On turn 0, you pitch this and it should have been this. You block with this first just in case your opponent has X and Y, but doesn't have Z, and then decides to arsenal it. Right? It's like, it's so many small decisions that you don't even get punished for in the game that buy you like just enough room to like squeak your way back into a game that you maybe wouldn't have won otherwise. Or it buys you that extra card you need to cast your like Felling of the Crown on the like single digit life total turns.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I actually went to Michael Hamilton for training like 3 years ago, and I was sitting with his Icelander, and he just made every single line that I did. But at the end of the game, he just made a slightly different line with like a waning moon and a tunic, and I was like, that right there is it right there. That 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well,
yeah. It's always fun to do that, but I remember it being very daunting. Like sometimes watching, like, Michael Hamilton, like years ago watching Michael Hamilton play, and I was just like, man, I can't do this. This man doesn't miss value. Oh.
Yeah, man, that's how
dude.
I felt watching there's the Battle Hardened Houston, I believe, 2 weeks ago, and it was Michael Hamilton versus Michael Fong, both on Gravy in the final, and watching that back, it was like, woo, not only was it like an hour and 40 minutes, but always like trying to like see what they're thinking and their lines. It was like, where am I?
Yeah.
Why am I playing this deck?
Yeah. I will say, for those of you listening at home going like, man, I wish I could hit that level on a deck, right? Like, I would say that my advice is to just pick one deck. Like, the majority of people who hit that level at one point or another one-tricked something. And they got really good with it. Right. And then like after you like hit those peaks with a deck, after you become like the guy, right? Like Yuto's currently like the Acilio guy. But I imagine that if he branched out into similar things, he wouldn't see as much success immediately, but he would see more success than maybe he would have before. Because I feel like you just apply those same things, and you really like learn how to think critically about not like just the game or your spot, but also the matchups, the macro, how your plays flow into that macro plan. And that's really what I think like helps people get to the next level on stuff. So yeah, stop switching decks every week if you're trying to get really, really good is like my big advice.
Yeah, and I think also enjoying your deck is also a really big part of that, because
Huge.
people who play the deck that they enjoy, I feel like perform better. I feel like when I play a deck that I enjoy, I perform way better. I tried to learn Aurora for London and I hated it, and I feel like it would have been pretty terrible. So it's always, number one advice: make sure you like your deck. Yeah.
No, I mean, I play Wizards all the time, even when they're not very good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 100% in on that.
Preaching to the choir on that one.
Yeah.
I guess in that kind of same ballpark, you recently joined a new team, right? You're playing with Yuki, also another huge name in Fab. How do you feel like that's helping you prep for Singapore?
So that team's pretty interesting, the like PCG and Asian guys, because it's like 3 different teams melded into one team. So like Yuki, Nia, and I have already been working together. We work together under like the Stroopwafel name, right? With a bunch of them. And then you have a bunch of like the Canadians that work together, right? And I haven't been with them enough to understand how they kind of bring it all together at the end. And maybe they don't. Maybe it's just like 2 to 3 fractured groups, and like that's okay, right? But it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm mostly testing with like Yuki and Nia, which has been great. I really enjoyed my time testing with like the quote like top players type thing. Just because they force me to play good decks. Not even on purpose. It's just like you can't bring a deck to a pro tour if they like 6-0 you in scrims. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, fine. I'll put it down.
Oh yeah,
I'll
we've
put it
had
down. Yeah. So that's been great. It's helping draft a lot, which is good because I need it. Just pinging people who know more about limited than me, which isn't hard. Just being like, what do you think about this? Like, I feel like over the last 6 months to a year, my draft has gone like so much better.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how much help they're giving you right now, because it seems like you're killing it in limited. I feel like you haven't lost a game in like 2 majors.
Yeah, I think I'm like
Except for the-
11-1 in the recent majors, which is
Yeah.
insane considering I was like a career 1-2er before that. But I think a lot of that is contributed to like, I put in the work and I know what I'm doing, at least mostly, but like I think I just hit the higher end of variance there, right? Like you can never guarantee you're going to 3-0 a draft, even if you're the most prepped person on the planet.
I mean, it took the most insane return fire play I've seen in IC's Limited to stop you this last time.
I could not believe that. I was running through every card in my head. I was like, it's okay. Even if he has red on the horizon, I'm still going to win this game.
Yeah.
And then it was return fire. And then it was dry powder shot. And I was like, there's no way.
This is my literal hell. What?
Yeah, watching that one in like the hotel room, I was like, oh, that's a bad beat right there, man. It's like,
Yikes,
jeez.
Yikes. Although it was like, as far as bad beats go, that's like a cool bad beat. Because I get a story out of it.
Yeah.
So Majin, I want to take something that you just talked about with draft and like improving, and I want to like go a little bit further, because you gave a piece of advice for people, who are looking to like get better and like look into specific avenues. When we talk about draft, how do you feel like the best way to improve is, other than just saying, oh, well, like we've got 8 people on Friday night, we're going to draft at our armory, or like we're going to get on, the Runaways Discord and we're going to draft. Like, where are some like extra lines you feel like, the average player can step into to look to, improve limited?
Yeah. Okay. I have a lot of things, actually, if you don't mind me rambling for a little bit.
Absolutely.
No,
Go crazy.
So the first one is like play your O1s if you can. I understand like at Runaways it's really difficult, but like you really want to be playing like your O1, O2 spots. Because like anyone can win with a god deck, right? Like you're just in the spot, they fed it to you from pick 1 and you just have it and you crush people. Like anybody can do that. But there's so much to learn from decks that are mediocre. You learn when like cards are actually kind of better than you thought, or like this is really not good in any situation. You have to get really creative with like how you win these games. Sometimes you have to find your lines a bit better. You can't just like bully your opponent. So I would really like play your O1s, O2s. You'll get a much more solid idea of your pick orders outside of like the first 20, top cards or whatever, which is pretty important. Like this is a D plus and this is just a, D minus or whatever, right? Like, and that distinction really matters. Cause it's like, oh, do you have some filler or do you have like a card that could maybe kind of be a role player here? That stuff matters. The second thing that I did, which was incredibly helpful, is to do a draft where everyone drafts face up. So like you just open up your pack and you pick a card and then you start it, like it starts with me, right? And I go, okay, I pack one, picked one, Red on the Horizon because it's the best card in the pack. I'm passing these notable cards, and I think that I can expect to maybe see some of these again. I'm going to be on the lookout to see if any of these are gone. And then you pass. And then it would go around the table and everyone would do that, right? And then we'd pass, and then we'd make our next pick, and you'd go, okay, since I picked this in pack 1, and I pass this, I'm opening this, and I see that the equipment is gone, which doesn't give me a lot of information, but this is the number 1 top common, and so maybe that narrows it down a bit, because you would only take a couple of pieces of equipment over this. It could be this, or this. I should be on the lookout to see if my opponent is playing maybe Puffin, right? Because like those are the best equipment pieces in the set. Stuff like that. Red perk up still here though. That's kind of interesting. You just like do that all across the table, and it gave me such a good idea of how things ripple through drafts. I was just much more receptive to what was coming my way, other than like, because you get to a point where it's like, oh, okay, there's 2 good Gravy Bones cards in this. Gravy Bones is probably open, right? But like at the end of that exercise, doing that a few times, it was more like, okay, both rares are gone. This is a premium pirate card, like a premium generic. What rares would I pick over this premium generic? That can kind of clue you in on maybe what they're into, right? Like, or an equipment or something like I mentioned. It is, you get out what you put into it. So like, I remember we did one that was like 2 hours long for like 4 or 5 picks, talking about all the various like reasons why you might want to do this. Okay, but if you picked this here instead of this for this and this reason, let's write that down and we'll see how it possibly would have opened up new avenues to you. That's another thing I've been doing is like I do a draft on Runaways, which the like Draftmancer thing is very helpful for this, because then I'll go back and I'll be like, okay, I wasn't actually the Gravy Bones seat. I think I should have been either Marlin or Puffin. Let's go back through the log and let's see if I can find a route that gets me there. Because it's really easy to say like, oh, Gravy Bones by the end, or Puffin by the end of it was really, really open. I should have been in Puffin. But you have to actually like go back to pack 1, pick 1, and start picking and being like, could I stay open? Could I have seen the signals early enough? Is there a way I could have been in this? I recently did a draft where Gravy Bones was insanely open. There was like 1 or 2 copies of Gravy Bones, but I could not logically find a way that I could actually end up in Gravy Bones before it was too late. And so I had to be like, okay, yeah, Gravy Bones was open here, but like that is not what I was supposed to draft. I'd be drafting cards that were way less good. Instead of picking a class that appeared more open at the time or had much stronger cards. And I would have lucked out at the end. So just, I don't know, stuff like that. Being a lot more aware. Sorry, I get rambly. You asked me a question.
No,
it's
great.
This is exactly what we want. The idea of face up drafting and just actively discussing things like that is awesome. I really like that idea. I think that's a really good piece of advice that some listeners probably haven't heard before. So I think that's like some really good insight there.
That's the first time I've heard of it, so
Same. I just didn't want to be the first one to say it.
Sorry, let me get some light for you guys. Yeah, I would say a lot of the other things is like, try not to just turn your brain off. That sounds stupid, but like autopiloting and draft is a real thing. If you always take Red on the Horizon over Red Battalion Bark, then like that's probably wrong, because sometimes you're supposed to take the other card. Really be aware of your blues and your equipment. Be aware of how your deck functions. Unfortunately for non-wizard players, pitch stack is so important in Limited. Like, so important. Like, I won half my games in Nationals just by, like, pitching, like, Sloop blue, something else, and just being like, okay, the sloop is 3 cards away. I have 3 gold. Crack, 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 kill you, right? Like,
Mhm.
I know exactly what this is. Okay, this one's a yellow, so I have to get through that first. Like, it's really important. Or just noticing like, oh, my opponent pitched a block card there, right? Like, I gotta keep that in mind. Hate to tell you, but you just have to like put in the work for that one.
I mean, that's
But
why
it
this
is
limited
it
is
is
so
relevant.
good. There's so many ways to like approach and
Mhm.
improve with this format. I'm kind of sad that I don't actually get to go draft this competitively anymore because it's so
Yeah.
fun. There's so many edges to be made. It's so good.
Yeah,
And
I
the
totally
one thing
agree.
about this draft that I really enjoy is that no matter what your prep is in the actual games themselves, is there's so many micro decisions in the game that even prepped can't save you from it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're attacking me in this way. I've never been attacked this way in my 1,000 games before this. What do I do here?
Mhm.
You know, and that's something I really enjoy about this format is every game has felt very, very different.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots where like I'm playing against Gravy Bones and I would normally just clear allies here, but I remember that they pitched 2 block, 2 block, 2 block ally. And if I can put them to 4, I can take like all the cards out of their hand. And stuff like that like won me the game. Or if I played just like the standard way, you know, who knows? And like you mentioned, like that's not a prep thing, right? That's like you got to be making the decisions in the game. There's so much play in these individual games, I feel.
So we've talked a little bit about, you know, draft prep and how that's like helped prepare you for Singapore, you know, and things like that and things that you're looking into. And we even talked about some of the Singapore meta, you know, and like kind of what we're expecting a little bit and like, you know, how you think there's a lot of decks. Are there any decks that you feel like, you know, could come out of nowhere? Maybe a dark horse that could be played at Singapore, maybe. Sorry, it was a horrible joke. I thought about it yesterday and I've been so excited to say it.
That's pretty funny. There are a lot of decks that like if they just line up into the field, right? Like they're just gonna run through them. Like even like Victor, like you mentioned, right? Like if he just hits the right matchups over and over again, he's gonna win. But like same thing with like Florian. But if you bring Florian and you just walk into like Verdance 3 times, like your tournament's over. Sorry. As far as decks that I think are like a dark horse, I think Kasai is super undervalued. Like super undervalued. And I've been saying that for a few weeks now on World Tour Weekly, and it's made me look dumb because she keeps not winning very much. But I'm still like, I don't know. I'm playing against Kasai. I'm watching Kasai players, and I'm like, this deck's doing something. And I think any deck that has like a pretty solid Slippy matchup should be like at the top of people's lists for this tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the decks I've been telling everybody is Mario. I always think that Mario is like the second best deck at having no bad matchups, right? Right beneath Verdance. And I was like, and it just doesn't do anything. I'm just like, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, where are
and
you?
maybe I'm a little biased. I was like, because like one of my best friends plays Mario all the time and he just destroys everybody. And then I'm watching Nats and there's not one in the top 32. I'm just like, okay. What?
I definitely think Mario is like, I think the competitive base has like completely written off Mario for the most part, which I think is probably incorrect. Like you mentioned, I think he's like, I don't think he's a top 3 deck.
No.
I think those are pretty set in stone, but I think like he's absolutely one of those decks, like the tier 1.5, like with the rest of them, right? I think he's up there.
I've also been thinking a lot about Prism. I see a lot of these top 3, top 4s, and I'm like, Prism would be really good here, but she's not converting as well as I'm expecting. Are you expecting a good Prism conversion in Singapore, or do you think it's going to be the same as Nats, where she's just kind of middle of the pack?
I think she's going to be very middle of the pack. I guessed that there was going to be one in the top 8 of Singapore. And I think there's a line in there that I say, but I ended up cutting in the final cut, where I say that it's not going to be a person playing Prism. It's going to be a Prism player that makes top 8. Like, it's going to be a Prism one trick, one that we know is gonna make top 8. I think like
be our boy Andrew or Kevin.
That's what I'm saying. The deck is like, I don't know. The deck is pretty like Unga Boonga when you just like Herald aggro v aggro. There's still a lot of really interesting decisions there. But I think like really Prism players shine when they're in a matchup that like sucks for them. And then they pull it out. Like that's where you got to really show off your Prism skill, right? That's what separates that's what separates the min cashers from the top eighters, I think.
Yeah. Watching like Cook play into Florian was like one of the most mind-boggling games I've ever seen. Because at
Yeah.
no point did I think he had a chance, and it just randomly
he
that
wins.
he's just like, he wins. I was like, okay, I guess I don't
Yeah.
know what the hell I'm doing here. I was like, you're the pro, I'm not.
He goes,
Yep.
nah, I win.
Nah, dude.
Nah, I'd win. Yeah. So many times I watch a player like him play Prism into like a bad matchup, and it's just like they're losing. You're just checking your watch, waiting for them to lose. They're losing. There's losing, and then like the live totals haven't really changed much, but you look at the board again and you go, "This game is over. They won the game." Like, what in the world?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Especially the new Herald of Second is just like one of the craziest cards I think that they've ever printed. I'm really excited for when the new headpiece comes out and we get to do some really just obnoxious things with Second and shooting yourself with some arcane to pop out an ALS.
I'm
That'll
not.
be so fun. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not having fun at all.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying this. I think like I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that maybe every single illusionist being printed hitting LL is maybe like a sign that maybe the class is pushed.
And there's 0 ban cards, by the way.
I
There's
don't know
zero
what you're talking
illusions.
about. Phantasmic
They just
Plasm
look
is
away,
a
they're like,
perfectly
"Oh."
okay card, okay?
Man.
I love Mirror Guy. Such a fun card. We're gonna have such a
Ooh.
great time with this.
Oh yeah.
Block with Traverse.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
That's good stuff. That's skill, really. That's what that is. Like
Oh wow, you did on turn 3?
yeah.
Fuck me, cool.
The devil transcend
Dragon
turn 0
again?
into a Spectra and you're like, sick.
I'm having a great time here.
Uh-huh. Oh man.
Oh.
What a class.
Oh,
What a
man.
class.
So, looking at some Nats data, there is one dark horse I do also want to bring up is Dio. I see that she has
Yeah.
like this insane like 57, 58% win rate at Nats, and she's converting okay, but like the win rate to Nats win is like abysmal. Do you think there's a
Yeah.
reason for that, or do you think they're just waiting for Singapore to show up?
I think that Dio was really well represented, like really, really well positioned when it was like Syndra Gravy week. So like week 1, week 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
yeah.
Slippy makes things really difficult for her. I think that like I also think that Dio is not to the extent that like a Dawnblade Dorinthia is, but I do think that Dio's like a bit of a noob check in a way.
Yeah.
Like, not to be rude to people who play nationals, but like if you're maybe not the most skilled player and you run into a Dio who is a skilled player, you're probably going to get ran over. Right? Like you have to know what you're like what you can expect here. You have to know that the Pulse Wave Harpoon is coming next. Like, you know, you have to block very well. It's not like the highest skill necessity thing on the planet to like block well against a Dio, but there is something to it. And I think like your average skirmish player like just is probably not at that level yet. So I expect Dio to do really well at like the lower tables. I think once you start running into like if you run into Michael Hamilton and he's playing Gravy, that's like a favorable matchup for you, but like I'm still gonna bet on Michael Hamilton. Right? Like
I mean, Hamilton's got like the main like the main character energy, which is the scariest energy
it's
can have.
terrifying. Yeah. He's
It's
got
like-
that aura.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I played him 2 or 3 times, and it's like scary when a good player also has that luck, and you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. My favorite Michael Hamilton story, because it involves me, is way back when in the Goliath Gauntlet. I don't even know if you guys remember that. But it was
I
like
remember this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the invite tournament. I still have it, actually. I still have like the gauntlet right here in the drawer. But Michael Hamilton and I played, and I got invited because I had a lot of Twitter followers, right? Not because I was like good at Flesh and Blood yet. People were like, "Oh yeah, this guy's pretty good at other card games. We'll like get him on here." And I'm playing Michael Hamilton. I'm playing Icelander. He's playing Icelander, and I play like this insane mirror game.
I remember it actually.
And then, well, you do. Interesting, because I won that game. And then Hamilton goes, "Oh no, I forgot to record, so we can't use it because it's a webcam game." And so we have to play again. But obviously I have to win because I won the game, right? So we have to either keep playing games until I win or try something else. So what we did was we stacked the first 2 turns of our decks to make it so that I would have a large, like a significant advantage, but not enough to actually like make it look obvious. So what happened was we had me go first with a potion and him go second with no attack. That was how we gave me an edge. And that's what we had to do. So when you watch the Goliath Gauntlet match, you're not seeing the actual match where I beat him. You're seeing the slightly rigged one where we tried to get the same result.
This is horseshit.
Awesome.
This is horseshit.
I want to go back and watch this now. Like, this is
I
awesome.
think if I remember
That's
correctly,
sick.
it was the semifinals. Is
I
the
don't
match you're
even
talking about?
remember
Yes.
when it was, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like in the tournament. Yeah, it was not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah, because I'm a big Fab nerd, so I watch all the good stuff. I remember Nathan bringing like the Math Briar list for the first time ever.
Yeah,
And I was just like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. I remember DMing him. I was like, where'd you come up with this? He's like, I'm in the middle of Disney right now. It was a great idea, wasn't it? I was like, sure. Like, thanks, man. I need that much context. But I remember that game and I was like, man, that was oh my God.
It was a good game. We didn't like fudge the game after that. That was the only part where we like massaged it a little bit. But I always think that's such a funny story.
You just
That's
ruined my childhood with
fantastic.
that.
Sorry.
Thanks, dude.
Santa's not real either. I'm really sorry. The first game was insane though. I wish we had that one recorded because I think it was way better. It was like so close. I think it involved like some crazy like Ice Eternal type setup stuff where you're like fighting on the stack to try to strip each other's hand. Like it was really, really cool. And then we didn't have his side recorded.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
If people had never heard this story before, people are either going to love you for this story or hate you because this game will never be seen by the world. And like everybody's going to want to see this game after this.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
even
tell
have
you-
it anymore. It's like
Oh,
years old now.
No, the tragedy.
Mhm.
Man,
Man.
So why haven't they reprinted Icelander? Can you tell us? Is that insider information that you know?
It's not. They actually don't tell me things. I feel like
Oh, okay.
everyone
I've always
expects me to know things because I do like World Tour Weekly and I know
Yeah.
a lot of the LSS people. And that's what I kind of expected too. They don't actually tell me anything.
This is the reason I took the job. James, tell me.
Like, I have to wait until like Monday to like really buckle down and do World Tour Weekly. World Tour Weekly takes me 12 to 15 hours of like sit down, do, right? I have to like do all my research, make my notes, get the outline, write a 2,000 plus word script, record it. I have to set up a whole setup. I have like a green screen. I have 3 lights I have to bring into my room. Otherwise the green screen doesn't work right. And it's like weird. I don't have a large room. So like over here, I have to like perch a light on my bed facing that wall to bounce the light off to get it onto the green screen. It's a hassle, man. And then I have to edit it all, right? All the like cards going onto the screen, that's me, right? I do all the editing as well.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's a lot of work.
I can speak
a lot
from
of work.
experience. That takes time.
It does. Yeah. I put a lot of effort into it. I really like what I like. I really like making it. I put a lot of effort into it. But like sometimes Monday at like 4 p.m. my time. So like I'm editing and stuff. I'm like doing the last little things. I usually wake up Tuesday and finish the actual like putting the cards on the screen and stuff. But it's like Monday and then they go, "Hey, just so you know, you're going to be revealing these Ira spoilers. Here you go. Talk about it for a few minutes." And I'm like, "Cool." And so I have to like go back and re-record, or like if I'm lucky I haven't recorded yet. But then like the whole script changes because not only is it like I'm talking about this thing, but then I have to talk about all the ramifications. Okay, how does this matter, right? Like Wizards got Burn Bear, right? I had that spoiler card. They gave me that 20 minutes before I started recording. So then I had to like go back and be like, okay, what does this mean, right? Like, how good is this card? What deck is it going into? Does it solve any other matchups besides Prism? Like, so when people are like, oh yeah, he really doesn't know, I really don't. They don't tell me. But to answer your question, my guess is that we don't have Icelander 2 Electric Boogaloo because Wizard is scary and they're worried about breaking it, and Ice is polarizing. And if you put ice and wizard together, it's very polarizing. I have something I think would be like good. Like I would love to see them move in a direction that's like focused more on the freezing point, ice eternal frost tech stuff. I think you would get a lot of the wizard feeling, and you get to remove the like it's just another wounded bull Stormstriders aspect of the deck. But I still don't think we're gonna see her for like another year.
I believe that. Yeah.
Man, I just want to play Eisenhower Weathervane. That card's so fun.
Oh yeah, that card
Dude,
rocks.
that card can fuck off. Is what that card can do. Dude, that card was awful.
See, I'm just like, I
God.
like playing the cards that make the opponent go, that's awful.
Yeah, no, ew. Oh.
Those
Like-
cards, they make me real happy.
At the time Icelander was around, I was playing a lot of Briar, and like, no matter what Icelander was doing, I was gonna
It
lose.
was not going well.
But like,
for you.
yeah, but like the whole freezing point with the list was way more miserable the whole time. I'd much rather wounded bulls coming at my face and I just die by turn like 5 or 6 than that bullshit. Oh,
fair.
here's a hex. Oh, you're dead from 23.
Wow.
Like I didn't have fun at all. Thanks, man.
Ice is tough.
like-
Ice is
Yeah.
tough. I feel like they did such
Yeah.
a good with the new Jarl, like with Jarl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels like different old him, right? You get to play the same cards, but like he operates on a much more like offensive axis, which I think is like really good. And I have faith that they can do similar things for Icelander. I just think it's like not there in their like when you think of, okay, how can we bring Icelander back that maybe makes her feel a little less bad, especially for like newer players. Like newer players playing against Icelander are like,
Yeah.
I just can't cast anything.
Yeah.
And like it's not immediately apparent what that would be. And Icelander is my favorite hero. It's like not even particularly close. So I'm happy to let them sit back and like think about it for a while if they really have to. I have some other wizards to play with, right? Like get her right. But if we see Aurora 3 or like 2 more illusionists before we get Icelander, I am gonna throw a fit.
I think
Just
that's
one more
actually
KO after
really
this one.
possible because I feel like they're probably going to release Dromai sooner than later, and I imagine there's probably another illusionist in Monarch 3 in January. So
Mhm.
I feel like that's really
Ooh.
possible.
We
See,
needed more
that's-
heroes in the LL format. You're right.
Yeah.
I just want the generic illusionist. Was it Amira that I always see in all the cards? I'm like, dude, this shit looks sweet. But then it's like it's never gonna come as this.
Yeah, we need a set with like her and then like the dude on Emeritus scolding. That's what
Oh
we need.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brittle Bones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my guy. I actually thought it was a long shot.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was gonna be the first 5 intellect hero in the game.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is the guy. He's gonna be hella weak, but 5 intellect because he's old and wise. I was not right.
Whenever I saw the suspense, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's him. That's the time wizard. That's him. I was
Gotta
like, this
be.
is it. It has to be. It's like, no, just kidding. It's an Aura Guardian. You're like,
Yeah,
what
you're
the
going
fuck? is that, dude?
Yeah. Wow.
Like, okay.
Not what I expected. Yeah, when they
Not
said
at all.
suspense, that was not what I had in mind.
Not at all, man.
I think my favorite part about learning about Super Slam and Suspense is how much I have loved it, and everybody else has been like, God, really, this set? The amount of people I've heard say, oh, I'm skipping this set. You can have the case I was going to buy because I don't give a shit about this set has been a lot.
It's a super like the heroes are the probably like per set are the most interesting heroes. It's
I
just like the
actually
theme doesn't like hit.
Think
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like,
Yeah, it's like, dude, I read KO and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I have zero idea.
Mhm.
Am I blame Blue Snatch? I don't know what's happening here,
Yeah.
but he looks cool, I guess.
oh, rouse the ancients, and then you give it 6 base. I think the heroes are super, super interesting. Like, I think the trailer was a pretty big miss for a lot of people and a pretty big hit for others because, like, the WWE, like, more like funny, cartoony, I would say, style is like not what a lot of people are looking for in Flesh and Blood. But then, like, I know that a lot of people really, really liked it. I'm one of the people who's like, this is a Guardian Bird set, man. It's not for me, right? Like, I don't care what the trailer's like. I'm happy they get this one because it's not really my thing. But the cards, when you strip away that and you look at the cards and what they do, I think this set is looking so interesting. So
yeah.
interesting.
The whole idea that limited is not going to have any weapons is crazy.
That's wild. Nah, no one's talked about that. They just talk about how they didn't like the announcers in the trailer.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
the guitar lady. She should have been a warrior. Like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I've
like,
heard
there's
all
so
my
many-
locals are like, I can't believe they didn't make her a bard.
That too.
That would have been kind of sick.
Oh yeah. Like, there's like so many like the difference in like the hero mechanics from this set to the last two are so different. It's like you'll read grave modes, like put a gravy, put a blue in the graveyard, do your stuff. This one's like, oh, your cards are all dog shit, but you're gonna do some cool stuff with them. I was like, okay, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool actually.
Pitch the
Pretty
top card of your
parasitic.
deck, 3 intellect, crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how they've like made the sauce for this set, but they've got to get it just right because these heroes look like they need the utmost in support coming out of this set.
But I swear to you, if the legendary, if one of them is not like a wrestling belt, I will be angry.
That would
Like
be-
I would love to have that.
Yeah.
Like I will be
Yeah.
kind of disappointed actually.
That's a cool idea.
That's a pretty fair criticism. I'm not gonna lie.
We didn't get the pirate hat. I just want the belt.
It's
We
coming.
did get the
surely.
pirate hook. You know, like
We got boats too.
yeah.
Okay, I do like boats. You got me there.
We were at locals and someone was reading off a card name and they go whatever skiff, and the guy behind the counter goes, what the hell's a skiff? Like it's a boat. And he's like, how big is it? Is it like a normal sized boat? Is it like a dinghy? And I'm like, bro, you know what a dinghy is, but you know what a skiff is? Like what?
We had the same
Size it. I was like, I
conversation
don't know.
at my local armory about sloop. We had the same conversation just
Oh,
about
yeah.
that, like 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a sloop was.
That was one thing I had an issue with is I was drafting a little bit with Vero and he kept saying the word Obama every time I'd see the fucking the blue like the big boat. He's like, oh, draft Obama. I was like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Just every time. And now every time I
Why?
talk to him, I don't know. I don't know. You can ask, dude. It's like it was the most like obnoxious thing ever because he'd say it and he wouldn't tell me what card it was. I had to like after like 4 or 5 picks, I'm like, okay, he meant this card. He wouldn't say anything about it. He's just like Obama. I was like,
Obama. Yeah.
I think it's just
okay.
because it's bark, like Barack.
yeah.
Oh,
And then
sure.
I was like,
That's so tough.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
And I was
really
like-
dumb.
that was like when he gave me a deck list, and like in the tabs is like Oscar. I'm like, I
Yeah.
think that's Ocilio, right? He goes, nope. I was like, it's a
Guessing.
pet name for another deck. He goes, yeah. I was like, what deck is it? He goes, I don't know.
Great.
Okay,
Great.
That's
Great.
great conversation.
Yeah, that's fun.
good help. Good help.
All right. Well,
So
we've gotten a little bit of ways off topic at this point. Might as well continue on that trend. Have you had any time? I know you've been really busy. There's a new Riot card game. It's called Riftbound for anyone who doesn't know. Have you had a chance to look at it? Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I saw the initial pick drop when everyone threw up in their mouth when we saw the card art. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was really ugly. And then I saw it when it came out again, and I was like, this does look way better. And then they announced organized play, and I was like, okay, you announced organized play. That means eventually I will play your game. Like, if you have an IP I'm interested in, which doesn't happen very often, it's like, you know, with my Runeterra background, obviously I have to like try it at some point. But they have organized play, and I went, okay, I'm basically going to turn my brain off on it until we're nearing a tournament. But I had been hearing a lot of people saying that it was pretty good, and I wanted to like try it. So I had Casanova show me and one of my buddies how to play the game, and Blue Ari had just been revealed that day, which was like
oh my
an insane. Like, I never played the game. The rules had been explained to me, and Blue Ari got spoiled, and I read the card, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Right? Like, I never even played the game yet. So we played the game, and it was really good, actually. It was really good. You could tell that cards were missing from the set, though.
Yeah.
But it seems like is the full spoilers out?
They're not
No,
out yet.
no, I think they're
I think it's like maybe
18th.
60-70% of the cards out now.
Yeah.
They're kind of trickling them out until October when the release comes. I'm pretty sure. But there's a lot of it to mess with right now. I think there's 170-ish cards, if I
It's a
remember
good chunk.
correctly. Yeah, there's a lot to
Yeah.
play with. And it's been really interesting to check out. And you know, coming from Runeterra, the worst part is I see all these cards like Castigate, for example.
And it doesn't do the Runeterra thing.
Yeah, it doesn't do the Runeterra thing, and I'm like, it's got a
Yeah.
completely different name now, and I'm like,
Yep. my buddy played single combat and it was not single combat, and I was like, what is this? Yeah, that's pretty frustrating. What really gets me is the ones where like the card art is some like big splashy effect in Runeterra, but then it's just like a little combat trick in this game, or like vice versa. Like it's just a combat trick, but like why isn't an 8-mana spell here or something like that? That's been
like
throwing me off a lot.
They took like what was it Dredger, the like 1 mana 2/1 that would toss 3 cards.
Yeah, it's like a 5 cost.
Yeah, it's a 5 drop now.
Yeah, I'm excited to play the game. I mean, I love card games. I really like the Riot IP. So when we do get, I think it's like October is the first like real event or something. Do you guys know that?
That's when the release is, and I think the
Yeah.
first organized play event is Atlanta in December. Is that
Oh,
right?
December.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
So I might try to make it to that, although I'm pretty busy. And Atlanta's kind of far.
I guess the good news is that might be when school's winding down a little bit for you. I don't know if
Sure.
you're taking winter classes, so maybe.
I have been taking classes whenever I can, man. I mean, it's summer
Okay.
right now, and I have like a calculus course, which is 8 weeks. It's like super accelerated, which is awesome. Except I have to learn all of calculus in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and I'm about to go
That
to
sounds like-
Singapore for like a week and a half.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things about Riftbound is Sam here comes from Runeterra.
Mhm.
So a card will release, I don't know, I'll send it to our little group chat, and he's like, "Oh, this is blah blah blah." I'm like, "That's cool." And then the one time I send one, he goes, "That's was it War Mother's?"
Yeah,
Oh,
they released
War
War
Mother's-
Mothers last
He's
week.
like, "That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
just it."
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"That's just it." He's like, "That's insane." They did one card correct.
Yeah, I saw it, which I'm glad. Like people love that card.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh yeah, it's like that big splashy spell
Yeah.
that actually
Yeah.
it's fun.
It's a cool card.
It's been fun to play.
It has been fun. It was pretty easy to pick up, which was advertised. And then you get into it and you get into like the mid game and you're like, there's a lot of decisions here.
Oh yeah, like
There's a lot
conquering is
going on.
way more complicated than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Like,
Totally
oh,
agree.
you move here. Oh, that's easy. Well, numbers. But it's like, well, is it correct? And then you start
Yeah.
like thinking about it. It's like,
Yeah. You didn't keep enough back, and now like
oh.
when they conquer that one, you won't be able to take it back, and they're gonna win because they held it. Like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff was really, really tough. The
Yeah.
end game is where like most the interesting stuff happens for me. It seems like.
I think
Zach,
they're
I can see your
trying
eyes
to-
glazing over.
Listen,
I apologize.
guys, I'm glad that we're all getting to have this moment with Majin where you guys are talking about this game I never played and this new game I haven't touched yet either. But, yeah, cool. I'm just kind of hanging out, Like, there's some dust on my wall I think I'm going to clean after this, so.
We do actually
So-
have some questions for you from people.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sam, why don't you bring them up?
Yeah, so I guess we'll get it rolling. We are kind of moving all of the questions over to the TheCardGuyz channel and doing our weekly questions in there. So if you're interested in getting a question in, pop in over there. We'll do the roll call for questions normally a day or two before we actually do the podcast. And we record on Tuesday nights, so probably Monday or Sunday. Very first one I got for you. We got Brick. What's it like being the only good wizard player?
I am so excited to hear your answer. Don't mess this up, please.
I think there are other good wizard players. I do think this is very like not standard for me to say. Generally, I'm like very humble. I do think there have been points in Flesh and Blood where I have been the best wizard player. I don't know if that's currently true. I think it's probably not. But I can't point to someone who I think is like better at the moment. But how am I supposed to answer that question?
I think you're doing a great job, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I
I do
guess-
think that the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess maybe a way to rephrase this a little bit is, how does it feel being so incredibly good at Wizard and like coming up, all your hard work coming up trumps in Vegas?
Okay.
That's
back
so
when-
much. That's not
such a
nearly
better
as fun
question.
though.
Yeah.
No, it's
It is
not.
It's less inflammatory, but it's more fun.
Oh, whatever,
It's easier for me to
whatever.
answer. So way back when I was like 18, I just graduated high school. and like my best buddy showed me Magic the Gathering, and I was instantly hooked. Like I never really played a card game. I went to bed that night just reading random Magic the Gathering articles, so that and then I like looked online. I found the closest store within 100 miles that had an event the next day, and I drove there and I played in a draft. So I like stayed up till 3 a.m. reading the rules of Magic the Gathering, drove and played this draft. I was like hooked. About 3 months in to this journey, we're watching a pro tour. It's like the first pro tour I ever seen. And I remember, I can't even remember who it was, but they pulled aside a player who was like a very well-known player, and he was very well known for doing this thing, for being really good at this deck or this style. And they interviewed him, and people clearly like really respected this guy, and he was just so good at doing this thing that he enjoyed doing. And I was like, damn, I want to be that guy one day. I want to be the guy that people interview about this super niche strategy that I'm the best at, that's like super technical. And then I won US Nationals, and I was like reflecting, and I was like, wow, I actually hit that point that like younger me dreamed of doing, right? I always dreamed of like playing the game and seeing the world. So now I'm the wizard guy.
That's awesome.
That's the most wholesome fucking answer ever. God. God, that's so wholesome.
Like everything else we talked about, it's going to be a 45-second episode, and everybody's going to love it. That was great.
I'm glad.
All right, next up, we got Big Shrimp. What card would you ban, and why is it Aether Wildfire? Just kidding. What do you want/think an untalented wizard would look like in a hypothetical world without Aether Wildfire in it?
Okay. Let's see. That's a tough question. If I wanted to ban a card, I am going to answer that question. If I wanted to ban that card, a card. Oh man, this is difficult. I think I would have to ban an illusionist card with Spectra. I hate Spectra. It would probably just be ALS because I think it's stupid. And every single time a new player runs into ALS the first time, I can see the light leave their eyes.
Oh yeah.
Like I put a lot of stock into what feels bad for new players. I think it's like really important to have good feeling games, and Flesh and Blood has great feeling games, unless you're playing against Illusionist or like Wizard and you don't know what's going on. To the point that when I go play local armories, if my opponents are newer and they don't know what Kano does, when I would like play Kano, I would legit borrow a different deck from like a buddy and play them with that. Because I understand it makes like feel bad situations. So I'd probably ban an illusionist card that creates really feel bad situations for newer players. Probably ALS. But a lot of that is also just because I hate that card.
Very reasonable.
Yeah. An untalented wizard, I think Blaze is great for a blitz hero. Like it sounds so nice to just have Blaze in CC, but it just wouldn't really work. Like she'd have to have like additional text. She'd have to be given the Kasai treatment, where she's given like specializations that play to a specific like plan or style and additional text, right? To increase the complexity, kind of like give her a little something. What I would love to see is early Kano, where it's not like some big setup, big go off. Because like Kano existed pre-Wildfire, like people forget this, but you were playing like Reverberates, Chain Lightnings, right? Like Aether Flares were your big bombs. That Kano was so fun because it felt almost a little bit like a Delver deck in Magic the Gathering, where like you have to like turn on the tempo and you have to like kind of keep people off foot, and you force them to like pitch to your AB, or you get a more like you get a stronger effect, right? Like if I went Aether Flare into Chain Lightning, Lessons in Lava or something, like you can't let this Lessons in Lava hit, or I'm gonna go get Blazing Aether and that's gonna suck for you. And so it like kind of kept people off balance. Now the deck sucked. And that's the issue with like a non-talented wizard without Aether Wildfire, is like they have to do something else. I think the most fun I've had with wizards recently is Acilio's like Volzar, because it's just Storm, and I love Storm. So I wouldn't be upset to see it kind of continue to move in that direction. It's so hard to design a wizard, man. It's
Oh yeah.
it's so hard. Have you guys thought about that at all? Do you have any ideas?
I was also thinking on like the Blaze train where it's like she's almost there for CC, but like she only really functions in that 20 health format where you have like the one
Yeah.
burst turn that's like just enough because they're like at like 12 or something. And it kind of
Mhm.
gets you there. You have like the asymmetrical play pattern, kind of same thing like Kano does, where you can play like a combo like after they empty their hands to kind of like get that in that little bit more, but he just doesn't have the sticking power to do that enough times to see it really work. So I feel like it would have to be some kind of like continual effect. And my initial thought when I was thinking about this was like something similar to like Ring of Roses, where like you hit them and then the second spell every turn is amped by 1 or something. You know,
Mhm.
some kind of like recurring value plan that makes the arcane more and more difficult to actually deal with.
Wizards have this thing where like they get stronger the longer the game goes on generally. Like if you give a wizard time, they're going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want that to continue. That's like my favorite part about the wizard class. And they did it in kind of interesting ways for the 2 more recent ones, Verdance and Acilio, where Acilio has like this big pop-off combo that's like powered by Volzar in Gone in a Flash, right? We are looking to just basically like cheese up the storm counter to 1,000,000, hit them for a ton, and then like blast them. And Verdance accomplishes it with a side quest that's built into like the Earth Heroes with the decompose mechanic. And I would love to see like, I think the side quest type thing, like they both work fantastically. I was actually really surprised with how much I enjoyed both the elemental wizards, especially after like we first got their hero text and I was kind of like not about it. But I think like the side quest mechanic works really well with wizards because they're always kind of doing something a little bit offbeat anyway. And I think if you like, it's a good way to make wizard cards good because they suck. So if you give them like an extra something, if you're able to do this, or like you mentioned, like you cast the first card, but then the second card gets this, and you have to like jump through some hoops to cast the second card, right? That's like a small little side quest. And I like that kind of stuff for Wizard because it forces the deck to play differently than other Flesh and Blood decks and classes, which I think is like a big part of the Wizard class to me.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what other class had like a talent had a really good side quest, which was Mystics? You
Yeah.
play a blue, you can transcend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should do that with the Wizards.
Dude, Mystic Wizard would be the most
Yeah, so I was
busted
thinking it's
hero
like
on the planet.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone's like, what talent and what talent and class would you ask for? I'm like, Mystic Wizard. It'd be I'd win every pro tour. Like that shit's so busted.
that's like something that like me and the guys would sit down and be like, oh, you know, let's design a mystic blah blah warrior. It's like, oh, you know, pitch a chi, go get any reaction or something. It's like it's always the most fun thing to think about because like, man, they really that was a really messed up talent.
Now, actually, I mean, like Mistveil was pushed, but like they were cooking with Mystic. Like Mystic was
yeah.
cool.
It's sick.
Yeah, they got so many cool blues. I'm like the one that draws a card that's a defense reaction. I'm like, dude, this card's sick.
Oh, I wanted to play that card so bad.
Yeah,
It
me too. I
always
was
like
this
snuck
card's-
in as like a 1-of for me, and then I knew it'd cast it, and I'd be like, God damn it, I have to take it out. But like, I love
so
that card.
So, Dunkmaster B wants to know what made you start your story times and what is your favorite one to date?
Ooh, okay. What made me start my story times? I love sharing tournament, like footage, coverage, stories, whatever. I used to stream the entirety of my Legends of Runeterra tournament runs, and people loved that.
Oh yeah. It was sick.
Yeah. So I like to bring tournaments to people who otherwise wouldn't be interested in tournaments. I think it makes it a lot more approachable for a lot of people. They kind of hear how these things go, and then maybe they hear about how like their favorite YouTuber guy, you know, went like 0-3 in an event, and they're like, oh, it's actually not that scary. It's fine if you like go and scrub out. But I also really like to tell stories. So when I couldn't show people my tournaments with Flesh and Blood, it kind of just made sense for me to just like sit there and talk about it. And then I think that's what happened is like one stream when I was still streaming, I just talked about my Flesh and Blood tournament to mostly an audience of Legends of Runeterra players and like TFT players and stuff. And people really liked it. Especially people who didn't play the game. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of kept doing it. And the reception has continued to be very positive. I get more people coming up to me about story time than literally anything else. I think my favorite one has to be Pro Tour LA, where I got alcohol poisoning.
Dude, I was behind you when that
wild.
happened too.
Yeah.
I was watching my buddy Pierre, and he's like
Uh-huh.
at the top tables with you. And I remember he's like walking over to the trash can. I have that like,
You're like, where's it going? Yeah, no, that was there was also a thing, like, wild things kind of happen to me sometimes at events, probably more often than most people, and a lot of it's probably my fault. But a lot of people, I was hearing a lot of chatter that people thought I was lying or like grossly exaggerating about my stories. And then that all kind of stopped after LA when like so many people just saw me throw up in every trash can at the venue all day. But yeah, that's probably my favorite story time. What a wild event that was. Like, I still can't believe how that happened for me. That was just a trip.
yeah, LA was a wild tournament. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
God, I lost that winning in. I still think about it.
They never leave you.
I feel
No,
like
they don't.
It's like every loss for you. You're still talking
Okay.
about the London loss in the
Preach,
call.
Okay, first off,
preach,
you
Sam, preach.
First off, you saw the London one. That was
I
a
know.
whole bunch of
I
horse
saw
shit.
it live. It was rough.
I've never I had Spellboy 2 and AB3, and I lost from like 40. I was like, this
Yeah.
is. I thought I was gonna yell. It was like, oh, good game. I was like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. I was like, you drew a red and a yellow, and you Storm
you
Striders
still
a
did it?
floodgates it to hit double blue. I was like, don't with me right now, dog. Oh, it was, he was a nice fellow.
All right. So I got another one from Aliono. For people who are inspired by you as a wizard generalist, having played almost all, I guess you have played all wizard and CC at a high competitive level after Singapore when you bring the Cecilio deck.
I
what
did
advice-
I did top 8 Battle Hardened with Acilio.
I remember that.
Yep.
You two
I
I know
would
'cause you
shut up.
messaged me and you're like, bro, talk to me about this. And I was like, I don't know, man.
So what advice would you give for players who focus on wanting to learn the wizard class in general? And how do you feel the entry point for each of these for other classes? Sorry, how do you feel the entry point for other classes is after learning wizard? It's like a branching out point.
I'm going to go backwards on this one. I think moving from wizard to other classes is much easier than it was when wizard was just Kano. Kano has very few transferable skills, but like Verdance is a real deck. And Acilio is only like 2 steps away from Aurora, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you played Aurora, you could play Acilio to at least like a 70% level after like a day, maybe 2. So I think like the transferable skills are better than it used to be. As far as advice I'd give to people for learning the wizard class, wizard is one of those that I think is the class. Prism players might yell at me for this. I think wizard is the class that pays you back for putting time and effort in the most. Like, I think the one tricks in wizard are better at wizard compared to the average wizard player than the one tricks in any other class are compared to their average players. If that makes sense. I think there's so much
yeah.
more room with wizards in general from like, you know, that we talked about like that average level of competency that you get to where you're like, I pretty much learned the deck. I think wizards have like an extra 10% as opposed to other classes. You know, if other classes have 80 to 100, wizards have 80 to 110 or well 70 to 100.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I completely get that. Whenever I
don't-
played against Peter, it's
Yeah.
just like it was just like an extra jump compared to like
Yeah.
anyone else I've ever played.
Mhm. You're like, wow, I always win this matchup and now I'm not. That's so odd.
It's crazy.
As far as for people to get into it, because of that, I recommend picking one and just sticking with them. And then like find someone really good at it and just watch them. Really watch them. And then if you can, especially with tournament footage, pause every time they draw a hand and be like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? And then every time they don't do what you do, really think about why not. Right? Like, because there's a lot of ramifications for late game, like later in the game, in just Flesh and Blood in general. But again, one I think even more so in the Wizard class, where like the exact cards you have in your hand in second cycle, like wins or lose you the game a lot of times. Like really, really pay attention. Like the semifinals game in nationals that I played against Bird, against New, like the amount of decisions I had to make that are like non-standard is wild.
It was so nuts.
Yeah, it was a wild game. And I would like never make those decisions if I hadn't put like so much time into Verdance and Wizard and understood like exactly what I need to win. And for Wizard, that's part of it. You're not just like another class with a weapon who can just like beat their opponent in submission. Sometimes you do that. Sometimes you just like beat your opponent up and you cast your Storm Charge card and they die. But a lot of times you have to really be like, okay, I have 7 cards left that matter in my deck. My opponent's at this life total. How do I make this work? Like so many times with Kano, it's like, okay, I don't have Aether Wildfires left because they all got banished or Command and Conquered away. My opponent's 36. What, like, how does this game need to go for me to win? And then you have to like make it happen. And that kind of stuff requires just so much like effort and practice to know your deck so well, to understand like your damage thresholds, how much can you actually do, and that kind of stuff. When I think Wizard more often than any other class is going to take mathematically suboptimal plays on purpose and it be correct. And so that's like another extra layer of learning where like the base level of Flesh and Blood is just like arithmetic. And with Wizard, you have to so often go off of the math in order to reach a more favorable game state. But if you're just doing it willy-nilly, then you're just going to lose even harder. So it's like you really have to know like why you're doing what you're doing with Wizard. So yeah, pick one and stick with it for a while and watch really, really good players.
Yeah, one of my big realizations is I was watching Julian pitch stack for the first time ever. And when he got to the second pitch stack, he just started blind flipping just like the nuts. And I was just like, I'm never going to do that as long as I play any TCG ever. It was like the most like, it was the most eye-opening thing ever.
What in the world?
It's insane.
He can do this.
This is insane. I was like, this is nuts.
Julian pitch stacked me once in a featured match of a Battle Harden. And it was the first time I'd seen someone pitch stack Kano. And I was like, damn, this guy's just lucky. Every card at the top is hate. I did end up winning because I was like, oh, I think he's going for like a mega combo here. And if he does, I'm just going to like set up the game in a way where I can just like zap him for 15. It was a super funny ending because he like does the giga combo, triple wildfire, triple blazing or whatever. And then like, I just go like, oh, okay, well, in response, use my last resource, Kano zap. And then he just like fist bumps me and starts picking up his cards. And the announcers are like, yep, Zap's not going to do it. MajinBae takes a loss here. And I actually like, won the game. But yeah, like what other deck asks that of you? Like what other class asks that of you? Like Kano in heavy hitters, you actually had to memorize 30 plus cards in your stack on 50% of your games, like about. Right? That was the optimal strategy. That's just what you had to do. And other classes like just don't need you to commit that much.
Yeah, because I remember, I think it was LA, was the tournament in which a lot of the Kanos brought Balance of Justice into KO.
Yeah.
And they would pitch stack them. And I remember the first time I'm sitting beside, I forgot, some Kano player, good Kano player, he reveals Balance of Justice. And I remember the KO sitting right beside me has to like take like a triple take. And he's just like, what's like Kano players just shuffling. I was like, oh yeah,
what?
Yeah,
dude, it is like, oh, I was like, well, yeah, man, you're dead.
I remember there was a period of time where like we weren't even bringing Storm Striders in against KO. You just play like blocking boots.
Yeah.
For like one event,
horrifying,
but
actually.
it was like, yeah, it was weird. I think Illusionist does that too, to a lesser extent, where like your macro game plan into other decks is like the biggest factor of whether or not you're favored in a matchup, right? Like, if you just like, I mean, if you've ever talked to an Illusionist player, you know what they're like. They're going to be like, oh yeah, other prisms lose into KO, but not me. You have to play this exact 60 and you have to cast these cards in exactly this order and do exactly this. And then you win. And like, I love to make fun of them, but like those people would win the matchups that I was never winning when I tried Prism. And I think Wizard's the same way.
Yeah. When people ask me like, how do you play into certain decks and stuff like that, I think one of the biggest, most actionable advice I can give them is playing said class a little bit more to understand like what's going on. People who don't really understand like what the real value is of a Genesis sticking on the board until they've played it and they realize like, holy, this is nuts. This is like the craziest, most, and the same thing, like with being able to pitch deck. I mean, I'm not going to ask someone new to learn how to pitch deck Kano, but the same idea kind of applies where, like, you don't really understand how powerful and what the pitfalls are of these decks without, like, I feel like playing them at least a few times to kind of get that baseline.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
All right, we got another fun one here. Do you think that LSS decided that Wizard will be the combo class moving forward? All three of the current legal Wizards are usually built around powerful combo turns, while other decks, like Mechanoid for Max or Sabers for Bolton, continue to have their combos kind of nerfed or even outright banned in the case of High Octane. Going forward, do you assume that all Wizards will have this kind of like massive combo payoff kind of built into their identity, or do you think that that's just what we're seeing right now?
I think Wizards will probably always have a combo payoff. I think it's a big like part of the class. And I think they're trying to move away from it being like the thing that the hero does. Like Kano is currently just a combo hero, which is kind of sad. Like he moved away from, he used to be like a tempo deck, then he turned into like a storm deck, and now he's like Goblin Charbelcher. For my Magic players out there, right? Like it's just he moved more and more and more degenerate and like crossed the threshold that I'm like no longer happy to play the deck, which is sad. But I don't think that that's what LSS wants. I think LSS wants decks like Acilio or Verdance. I think Verdance is maybe a little bit too much in the other direction where it's like it's a combo, and if you can't like dish out enough damage or disrupt me enough, like I am going to kill you with this. You know, like the Verdance Florian was like close to 100%.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And like that should never happen. I think Acilio is actually just like the hallmark of a good wizard right now. He's disruptible. He does a very powerful thing. He's incredibly fun to play. He plays normal hands, and he has a cool combo thing that he does. Sometimes he just absolutely blasts you out of your boots, but like he's a lightning hero, and sometimes they do that. But I would like to see more Wizards kind of in that vein. I'd like to see Wizards play a game, not like Kano, right? Like right now it's just like block out potions, hit the Kano button simulator, and like I don't want to play slots. Not really interested. So yeah, I think like combos are important. I don't want them to be the main focus is kind of where I'd go with that.
All right. Well, I guess kind of in that same vein, TCG Talk is asking, what kind of direction do you want to see the Wizard class be taken? Because we kind of will cover that. It can be mechanically, ability-wise, or just like thematic.
I want to be moving away from... I want to move away from Wildfire, which they're already doing a very good job of. I think it forces you too much into this like kind of combo-centric, on your opponent's turn type thing, which new players hate. And I mentioned that I want a good experience for new players. It also like really, it forces you down just like the specific way to play the game every time, which I don't enjoy. I want to move away from bulls in Wizard. I want more arcane damage. I want more payoff to play arcane spells. Once again, Acilio, great example of this. You have these arcane cards that are like good. They're solid cards, but like you're really paid off for making them work. Verdance, not like that even a little bit, right? Like your best arcane card is like Pulsing Aether because it says Earth Block 3 non-attack on it, right?
Yeah.
And Burn Bear is just a Storm Strider's card, and it just does big ass damage. Like it's just bull in arcane form. I want Wizards to be paid off for playing arcane spells, which is tough because arcane spells suck. They have to. Otherwise, they're busted. Yeah. And I think that's going to be LSS's main problem with the Wizard class. And that's why I think you see these like combos put in the decks is if they didn't have them, their cards would be poo-poo and they would just be like a really bad version of every other deck, right? Like, oh, I'm playing Runeblade, but I have less health and no sword and my cards do less damage. So you have to add a little combo spice in there, right? I just want to be paid off for playing my arcane cards. I want to play all the wacky stuff they put in there. right? Why is Verdance cutting Channel the Millennium Tree?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to play it. I want to play all these arcade spells. It's cool.
All right, and then probably the most technical one to end us off.
Ooh.
Jacob Kessel asks, "What are your thoughts from taking Gravy down in finals week 1 to now as Verdance? How has the matchup evolved, and what's your current take on the matchup?"
The matchup has evolved a lot. I went hyper aggressive because I knew it would work in that specific circumstance for reasons that were only really applicable to like that game, and the deck list of the time. I still think that going aggressive will like generally be maybe your best strategy. Although the gravy decks are trending towards like this more hyper efficient, like tipple, like 9x tipples, no whalers type lists, and I think it might circle around to them becoming fatigable again, which would be like the initial like plan zero, like day zero plan was fatigue gravy bones with Verdance, and then it became not something you could do when people had these like much more aggressive lists, and now that maybe they're not as like they're aggressive but in like a different way. Like it used to be like 3 red sloops, 3 humperdinks, and you're like not fatiguing that. But if they move away from that stuff, then like maybe they are fatigable, which makes this interesting decision Gravy Bones players have to make when they sit down across a Verdance. It's like, okay, do I tech for like possibly being fatigued? Because if you do, and then you run into someone who just like sends cadaverous tillings at your face, like your cards are less good. They're less efficient, and you might just get ran over because Verdance can do that, right? Like I showed that at the finals. But it also goes the other way, where if you play like the most efficiently you like 60 you can, and you leave out these cards that maybe help you not get fatigued, then like you could run into a deck that is just looking to fatigue you. And can you get through that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So it's going to be interesting.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah. That's kind of all we have for today. Anybody have any closing remarks?
Yes, I have something I have been waiting the whole episode to say.
Here we go.
Majin,
Here we
Victor
go.
joke?
Majin, I have been waiting like 2 years to say this to you. The first time I ever saw you stream like a content, like anything of yours, I'd been playing Flesh and Blood for a little bit, and I was watching one of your streams, and somebody said, "How do you afford to like do all of this like when you're still in school?" And you said, "I win events." And I was like, damn, this guy gets it. And I was like, that is like the best response ever. And then later on, like you laughed and you went on to like talk about like, like a real answer, but like that was your response. And immediate sub, dude. I love that. And so like,
That's
I guess
so
it's
funny.
not really a question, but I was like, yeah, this guy's awesome.
This guy wins events.
Exactly.
In the same vein, it was Battle-Hardened Richmond, I believe, and he was going to the finals against KO.
Mhm.
I remember I'm in the bathroom, and you walk up, you're like 2 urinals over, and you look at me, he goes, "Does he have spell void?" I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I don't know. It's like,
Yes,
maybe.
That's so funny. About the winning events thing, that was a joke, obviously, but it was also like kind of true. Back in the Magic the Gathering days, I was so broke I couldn't afford to buy cards. So I would play every single weekly tournament that was put on by all the local stores. I'd play like 4 tournaments, 5 tournaments a week. And I would like win them or top them, get the store credit, and that's how I would build a deck. So like if I wanted a Snapcaster Mage, that was like a week and a half of playing weekly tournaments. So I had like a big notes thing where I'd keep track of like how much all the cards were that I needed for a deck, and like that's how I would afford them. It was it was like an IRL like free to play CCG experience, like
Grinding.
But
I
that's
was
awesome though. I
grinding.
think that kind of stuff gives people hope though, right? And I think like it's a little different now with Flesh and Blood, but like store credit was like a great thing that, like you could do and like buy into decks with. So it's really cool to like, I don't know. I just feel like it normalizes everybody playing cards and doing the hobby they love. So that's awesome.
Well, it was awesome to have you on, Majin. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for coming on and talking to us.
had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. All right. You everybody have a wonderful week.